Welcome this evening. It's great to see you all here tonight. I'd like to invite the Reverend Dr. Jeff Wolfong-Pritchard, Chair of our Academic Senate, to come and to open our ceremony.
Good evening, and welcome to the 101st Convocation of St. Stephen's College. This is a celebration of the completion of many years of study and practice for many of our students. We honor the land on which we live, the land on which the college and its programming is rooted, the land on which we gather this evening. We acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Papaches, Dene, and Nakota Sioux, and many other First Peoples. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. As an expression of the college's commitment to living into better and right relationships, we continually work with care, intention, and humility to embody reconciliation. Over the past few years, the college has diversified its faculty, developed curriculum to incorporate Indigenous perspectives, and partnered with and participated in community events that work to decolonize the college's learning community and campus. These are steps along the way. There is much to be done. By naming these past actions, we acknowledge and renew publicly the college's commitment to future acts of reconciliation. We gather this evening to observe the ancient rites and rituals of convocation. We are nourished by these traditions and our ongoing search for transformation. Let all meaningful customs be celebrated this night for the good of all people who strive for justice and wisdom and who express compassion. And I invite Larry Durkash, the Chair of the Board of Governors, to come and offer words of welcome.
Good evening, friends. Along with our eminent Chancellor, Lewis Cardinal, and on behalf of the board, I extend a warm and wholehearted welcome to all of you at this 101st Convocation. 101 years. Wow. We're moving forward into our second century. Welcome, graduands, distinguished guests, friends and family, faculty, staff, and alumni, and all others who find yourself in the warm embrace of St. Stephen's College community. And what a fabulous crowd this is tonight. It's just, I don't know if there's hardly any empty chairs out there. So delighted to see you all this evening. I extend a special welcome to the Reverend Dr. Gordon Oakes, who will be receiving the Honorary Doctor of Divinity degree. I have known and loved Gordon for more years than I can recall through our church connections, through his work as a pastoral minister at McDougall United Church, where I'm a member, and in his work with Diego Canada in connection with he and his wife Esther led a tour through Rwanda, which I had the privilege to be part of, and of course also through his excellent work with St. Stephen's College, including as a former Chancellor. I extend a special welcome also to Dr. Kathleen Neufeld, whom we know as Kay, who will be receiving the honorary degree of Doctor of Sacred Letters. I've come to know and love Kay through her gentle, kind, and insightful leadership at St. Stephen's College in a variety of roles, including through some challenging transitional times. I've also had the privilege to see some of her impactful work with survivors of the Rwandan genocide. The college is privileged to count Gordon and Kay among our friends, and so I extend our heartiest welcome to them. You'll learn more about them as the evening proceeds. This evening, we are honored and pleased to have with us Dr. Pablo Irizar, Dean of Newman Theological College. And we're honored and pleased also to welcome the Honorable Kevin Feehan and his spouse, Dr. Mona Lee Feehan. Welcome to you all. as we convene for this celebratory occasion, surrounded by the delightful pomp and circumstance and traditions that have shaped us as much as we have shaped them, we cannot help but remember that we're not isolated in an ivory tower. We're immersed in a world that in many ways is contradictory to what this institution stands for. We're witnessing the erosion of hard-fought human rights, including for 2S LGBTQIA+ persons and migrants, the attempt to erase people and rewrite history. The democratic institutions and norms on which our society is founded are incrementally being challenged. Environmental degradation that threatens life on this planet continues apace. The imposition of power of one people over another is exacting terrible tolls in several wars across this globe. The rapid emergence of artificial intelligence appears to be challenging the very ability to reason that makes us human. And we're seeing challenges to academic freedom in order to serve ideologies of those in power. Oh my gosh, it's a terribly long list, and we could spend more time adding to it. Each of these issues is worth a speech that could pertain to the work that this college is about, but I'm not going to do that. But what I do want to emphasize is that this is a most difficult time and environment for our graduates to be establishing themselves with their skills, their motivation, and their brilliant ideas for bringing healing and hope and creative problem solving into every aspect of public life. Difficult, yes, but more needed than ever. The good news that fills me with hope and expectation is that our graduates are up for the challenge. Very good news indeed. The college, and our graduates in particular, are prepared to face the challenges with courage and faith, skill and perseverance. It may not always feel like it, but I trust that it is so. Graduates, the journey that has brought you to this night has been marked by many challenges, perplexing uncertainties, daunting obstacles, demands, commitments, and time pressures that have needed to be balanced and accommodated. You've drawn upon your inner resources and supportive circles. You've pushed into your fears, and you've just kept doing the things that you were not completely sure you could do until you succeeded in doing them. And here you are. You've done it. Each one of you has explored your own gifts and skills and deepened your capacities to bring healing and wellness and kindness and grace and beauty into places where you can make a meaningful difference in the world. I want to let you know that in many ways this also reflects my own experience as part of a deeply committed Board of Governors, who along with our principal and dean, faculty, staff, chancellor and senate and committees have focused their efforts on all the aspects of the college that together contribute to educating the whole person. We're driven by the vision of St. Stephen's College, of which I want to remind us again, and it's printed in your program. We envision a world where spiritual seekers of all faith traditions and worldviews transform their communities into places of greater acceptance, justice, creativity, flourishing, and hope. That vision makes room for so many people, for so many gifts, and it drives us to open opportunities for creativity, which is so evident in what our graduates have already done. In pursuit of that vision, the Board of Governors has continued in its effort to embed within every aspect of the college's life the principles of equity, diversion, inclusion, and social justice, even as these principles are being challenged around us, notably south of the border, but in ways that inevitably bleed into the Canadian body politic. We hold fast to the values that make us who we are and which reflect in the learning environment which we strive to uphold. My dear graduates, your very presence this evening is a testament to the college's vision in which you are playing your part in making a reality. The milestone you've arrived at is a great personal accomplishment of which you and your loved ones can be justifiably proud. But I tell you, it's bigger than that. It's a declaration and a promise of hope in a world where brokenness exists on a global scale as well as locally, in the communities where we gather, and in the private spaces of the individuals you encounter. Earlier today, I had the pleasure to witness the presentation of just a sampling of the work that you have done. One thesis and 4 capstone projects, and there are so many more that I read about that just filled me with excitement, left me with such hope and expectation about the impacts that you have already begun and will continue to make in your chosen fields of practice. What an amazing group of graduates we have today. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I close my remarks with this blessing. May we be filled with the spirit of peace and love. May we be strengthened and encouraged by the power of community that binds us together. May we be empowered to serve for the lifting up of those who are weary and beset by woe. May we be imbued with strength and hope as we step forward to make a better world. And now let us continue with the hallowed rituals of convocation. And next on our agenda is, I will invite Jeff and Michael to come forward, and Fred. It's a moment that we get to honor our outgoing Chancellor, Michael Phair. What a gift to St. Stephen's College it has been for Michael to have been our Chancellor for the past 3 years. At the board table, Michael has offered important political insights, small p and big P, as we navigate changes in the post-secondary universe, asking probing strategic questions and demonstrating little tolerance for wasting precious meeting time in mundane procedural matters. I could count on Michael's hand to be the first one to pop up when we're passing an agenda or minutes or something like that. Michael brought his considerable experience to the work of equity, diversity, inclusion, and social justice, EDIJ, or as we sometimes rearranged the letters and called it, JEDI, which if you're a fan of Star Wars, you'll appreciate the reference to those champions of truth and justice. Michael has been instrumental in helping us move further on our path towards decolonizing and being truly inclusive. Michael's never held back from being a visible example of the diversity that we celebrate, a bold, articulate public figure, something we can't take for granted in these challenging times. And I'm also delighted that Michael's going to be offering our convocation address this evening. And so, Michael, I offer our deepest thanks for bringing your gifts and stature into service for St. Stephen's College in your term as Chancellor.
Michael, I will offer my handshake and hug in a second, but we have a gift for you. It's not a puppy, I promise. Michael, we know you love all things Edmonton. We know that you love color. We know that you are a proponent, a strong proponent of equity, diversity, inclusion, and justice, the work you've done with us and the work you've done all through your career. And I have particularly enjoyed the many lunches that we shared, which is a real symbol of hospitality, which is something the college values. So we have got for you a ceramic bowl created by an Edmonton queer artist, and it's got lots of color. Let's see. It's got these beautiful polka dots, which remind me a bit of Michael Phair Park, but also remind me of the ever-widening circles that the college seeks to embrace. And I hope that it will be for you a symbol of hospitality, just as you have blessed us with your hospitality, that when you serve food in it, buns or salad or whatever, that it can be a reminder of your time at the college.
St. Stephen's College is a graduate school founded by the United Church of Canada and affiliated by long history with the University of Alberta since the early 1900s. The college is dedicated to the exploration of truth, however defined, in the broadest expression of human spiritual experience. The breadth and depth of the college mandate is to educate the whole person, body, mind, and spirit, and that's embodied in the appointment of its chancellor. The chief function of the chancellor is to act as spokesperson for the college when it offers leadership to the community, and as wise counsel to the college when it makes decisions affecting its relationship to the community. After careful consideration, the Senate of the College desires to confer the honor and responsibility of the St. Stephen's Chancellery upon Lewis Cardinal. Lewis Cardinal is Woodland Cree from the Sucker Cree First Nation in Treaty 8 in northern Alberta. He is a communicator, educator, and story holder who has dedicated his life's work to creating and maintaining connections and relationships that cross cultural divides. His consulting company, Cardinal Strategic Communications and Development, specializes in Indigenous education, communications, and project development. Mr. Cardinal is also owner, CEO, and head storyteller of Red Earth, Blue Sky Productions. Mr. Cardinal has served and continues to serve interfaith organizations and initiatives locally, nationally, and internationally through the Edmonton Interfaith Network, Society as Vice Chair for the North American Interfaith Network, Trustee for the Parliament of the World's Religions, Co-Chair of Initiatives of Change Canada, President of Global Indigenous Dialogue International, and Honorary Board Member of the Board of Sponsors at Martin Luther King Jr. International College of Ministers and Laity at Morehouse College in Atlanta. Mr. Cardinal is Senior Advisor for the Indigenous Knowledge and Wisdom Center, the Kitchikawaski Sacred Land in the city of Edmonton, the first designated urban Indigenous ceremony grounds in Canada. Through his career, Mr. Cardinal has established a long track record of public service, including co-chair of Initiatives of Change Canada, chair of the Global Indigenous Dialogue of Initiatives of Change, and trustee and chair of the Indigenous Task Force for the Council for a Parliament of the World's Religions. In recognition of this work, Mr. Cardinal has received many honors and awards, including both Diamond Jubilee and Platinum Jubilee medals from Queen Elizabeth II, the Inspire Award for Public Service, the Province of Alberta's Centennial Medal, the Distinguished Alumni Award from MacEwan University, an honorary diploma from Northwest College, and the Honorary Doctor of Sacred Letters from St. Stephen's College. On behalf of the Senate, I have the honor to present to this convocation of St. Stephen's College my eminent colleague, Lewis Cardinal, that he might be installed to the office of the Chancellor of this college. Lewis, you have been invited to assume the office of Chancellor of St. Stephen's College. You solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that you will duly and faithfully, to the best of your wisdom, skill, and knowledge, exercise the trust reposed in you as Chancellor of St. Stephen's College. If so, please respond now, I do.
I do.
Lewis, we're excited to have you join us. And I have a gift for you. It's a gift of tobacco. We also have some cloth, purple cloth and gold ribbon. These are the colors of the college, purple and gold. And I was delighted to learn from you this last week that purple is also the color of the Creator and gold the color of sacred knowledge.
Yes.
And so we present that to you, and we're excited and grateful for this journey ahead.
I am more than grateful to be bestowed this honor with great gratitude to the Senate, to the college board, to the students, and to the Creator. And I take these colors and I take this tobacco and I will offer it to a sacred fire at Kitchikawaski. The color of the Creator is here. The color of sacred knowledge is here. And it's something that binds us together as human beings. In the spirit of understanding our treaty and treaty relations, Canada was meant to become a nation of family. Treaties are adoption ceremony. You are my family. And with that, I keep this in mind, that we are meant to be together and to explore this great mystery that we call life and to understand more of each other as family members. And with all the powers in me, and with all of the abilities that I have, I will serve in the best way that I can as the Chancellor for St. Stephen's College. I'm grateful.
And so at the request of the Senate and by the custom of the college, it is my great pleasure, together with the Reverend Dr. Jeff Wilfong Pritchard, to hereby install you, Lewis Cardinal, Chancellor, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to your office. We bid you the warmest welcome to the community that is St. Stephen's College.
It is a long-standing tradition dating back to 1917 that St. Stephen's College will grant honorary degrees in recognition of individuals who enrich the world and who best exemplify the vision, mission, and values that the college upholds. The honorary degrees presented this evening recognize individuals whose achievements have enriched the lives of many in the broader communities of Edmonton, Alberta, and across Canada. I invite the Chancellor, the Board Chair, and the Principal to gather together at the front of the stage here. And I'm honored also to invite the Reverend Dr. Gordon Oakes, this year's candidate for the honorary degree Doctor of Divinity, to join them at the front of the stage. The first honorary degree that we award tonight, the Doctor of Divinity, recognizes individuals whose contributions reflect meritorious service, outstanding leadership in denominational or ecumenical contexts, and/or outstanding commitment and contribution to ministry, whether ordered or lay. Without question, the individual we honor this evening is worthy of this recognition. The Reverend Dr. Gordon J. Oakes is recognized for his long-standing service to St. Stephen's College and to faith communities in Western Canada and beyond. Dr. Oakes hails from Calgary, Alberta. After completing a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Sociology at the University of Alberta, Dr. Oakes pursued a career in ministry by first obtaining a testamer in 1966 from St. Stephen's College, and then a Bachelor of Divinity in 1968 from the University of Alberta, St. Stephen's College. During these years, Dr. Oakes lived in residence at St. Stephen's College. He served as president of the St. Stephen's Students' Council from 1964 to 65, and on the morning of February 15th, 1965, he had the honor, together with Dean Charles Johnston, running up the flagpole of St. Stephen's, the first Canadian flag to fly over the University of Alberta campus. After completing placements as a student minister in Rocky Mountain House in Alberta, Norman Wells in the Northwest Territories, Dr. Oakes spent 4 years as minister in Fort Nelson, BC. In 1970, after being named Male Citizen of the Year in Fort Nelson, he returned to Edmonton, where he served as minister of Robertson Wesley United Church, and then St. Stephen's United Church, and then finally St. Paul's United Church. During this 32-year period, Dr. Oakes also spent time in Australia and Zimbabwe on ministry exchanges with the Uniting and Methodist churches in each of those countries, respectively. Ever the thirsty mind, Dr. Oakes expanded his ministry competencies by pursuing studies in pastoral counseling at Andover Newton in Boston, Massachusetts, graduating with a Doctor of Ministry degree in 1978. Upon his formal retirement in 2002, Dr. Oakes took up part-time ministerial duties in pastoral care at McDougall United Church here in Edmonton. Throughout his life, Dr. Oakes has contributed to the life and work of St. Stephen's College in deep and meaningful ways. He served over 25 years on the St. Stephen's Doctor of Ministry Program Committee, working closely with doctoral students to help them craft and deepen their research and ministry practices. From 2007 to 2010, he was the 5th Chancellor of St. Stephen's College. And during these 3 years, Dr. Oakes championed fundraising efforts to renovate the college's ground floor and west entrance to increase campus accessibility. One of Dr. Oakes' enduring legacies at St. Stephen's was the inauguration of the Chancellor's Gala. Between the years of 2008 and 2019, the college held 10 gala events, which raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to support the college's educational programming. Beyond the United Church of Canada and St. Stephen's College, Dr. Oakes served as chairperson of the Bissell Centre Capital Campaign from 2004 to 2006, and he provided leadership to educational programming delivered by the Personal Development Centre, the Family Life Educational Council in Edmonton, and the Family Life Educational Centre in Australia. He has contributed either as a facilitator or a participant to multiple workshops, conferences, and study tours. More recently, Dr. Oakes also co-chaired the board of IEGO Canada, a not-for-profit organization that supports those working with genocide survivors and vulnerable youth in Rwanda. An avid golfer, curler, swimmer, and cyclist, Dr. Oakes also sings in the Edmonton Metropolitan Community Chorus. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Gordon Oakes, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forward by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Honorary Doctor of Divinity and to share in the rights, privileges, and dignities which pertain to that degree. And I invite Dr. Kay Neufeld, this year's candidate for the honorary degree Doctor of Sacred Letters, to please join Principal Tappenden, Chancellor Cardinal, and Board Chair Durkash at the front of the stage. The honorary Doctor of Sacred Letters recognizes service to the community at large. Recipients are individuals whose contributions reflect meritorious service and outstanding leadership of a high order. Without question, the individual we honor tonight, this evening, is worthy of this recognition. Dr. Kay Neufeld is recognized for her long-standing service to the public education system, faith communities, not-for-profit organizations, and to post-secondary education. Dr. Neufeld's resume is as diverse as her character is deep. She was born in Manitoba, where after taking courses in psychology, geography and sociology, English, literature, and German at the University of Manitoba, she taught as a classroom teacher for 7 years. After a decade working as a stay-at-home mom, she completed a diploma in early childhood education in 1981 at the University of Manitoba, followed by a Bachelor of Education degree in 1981 and a Master of Education in 1985 at the University of Alberta. Over the next 20 years, she worked as a classroom teacher, curriculum coordinator, and then school principal with the Edmonton Public Schools. During this time, Dr. Neufeld also taught sessionally in the Faculty of Education at the University of Alberta and ran a teacher training program in Thailand for the Private Schools Teachers Association. Throughout her life, Dr. Neufeld has been active in her faith community, both in official and volunteer capacities. She spent 6 years in pastoral ministry at Lendrum Mennonite Church, where she has also served on multiple committees as moderator of the board. More broadly within her Mennonite community, Dr. Neufeld served as a board member of the Mennonite Brethren Biblical Seminary in Fresno, California, and 8 years as chair of that board's academic committee. She has worked as a member of the pastoral care team at South Park Extended Care Facility and served 5 years on the board, 2 as chair of Rise Up Ministries, which provides support for women dealing with domestic violence. Since 2010, Dr. Neufeld has chaired the Edmonton Mennonite Catholic Dialogue, and in 2012, she was awarded the Kevin Carr Award from Newman Theological College. Dr. Neufeld has been an active member of the St. Stephen's College learning community for over 20 years, having completed her Doctor of Ministry in 2010 and a Master of Theology in 2013 at the college. She's held several positions at St. Stephen's College, including 3 years as chair of the Doctor of Ministry program from 2010 to 2013, interim principal and dean 2017 and 18, chair of the Academic Senate 2019 to 2022, member of the Board of Governors 2019 to 2022, and a member of the college's ATS Accreditation Committee from 2020 to 2023. Outside of education, Dr. Neufeld has offered distinguished service in many not-for-profit organizations. She is a past executive director of Wellspring Edmonton from 2021 and 22, past chair of the board for the Center for Newcomers, and past interim director of the Mennonite Central Committee Prison Ministry, M2W2, from 2005 and 2006. From 2015 to 2022, she worked closely with the Ego Rwanda Project, serving on their board and traveling each year to Rwanda to facilitate healing retreats and other programs for women and youth affected by trauma and intergenerational trauma as a result of the 1994 genocide. She's volunteered with organizations such as the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters, at men and women's prisons, and she has worked as a facilitator of alternatives to violence projects in the community and in prisons in Edmonton, Drumheller, and Bowden. Dr. Neufeld has also been active in the Toastmasters Club of Edmonton, having received both Toastmaster of the Year and Toastmasters Heart Awards. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Kay Neufeld, who, having satisfied the requirements set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the honorary degree Doctor of Sacred Letters and to share in the rights, privileges, and dignities which pertain to that degree.
Well, I'm very happy tonight to introduce our convocation speaker, Mr. Michael Phair. Throughout his life, Michael has served as a strong advocate for social justice issues, for education. He has championed efforts to reduce homelessness, to promote affordable housing, and to advocate for the advancement of 2S LGBTQ+ rights in Edmonton and beyond. In 1992, Michael joined Edmonton City Council and became Alberta's first openly gay elected official. He went on to found HIV Edmonton, which was then known as the AIDS Society of Edmonton. And he has served as a board member with the Edmonton Homeward Trust, the Edmonton Community League Center, the Edmonton Pride Society, and the North Saskatchewan River Valley Conservation Society. Michael has served as an adjunct professor with the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services in the Faculty of Education at the University of Alberta. He was recently awarded the Honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Alberta. And as we've already said, we have been honored to have Michael work with the college for the past 3 years as our chancellor, where he has brought the fullness of his experience, the fullness of his energy to bear on the work of the college. And as his final act as chancellor, we are grateful to have him share with us this evening.
So certainly thank you very much. And I do want to acknowledge new Chancellor, Lewis Cardinal, as well as the Principal, Fred Happerton, and the Chair of the Board of the College, who spoke to you a little bit earlier, starting with that, Larry Durkash. And to all of you here this evening, it's a delight to be here. And in particular, to those of you sitting over here who are going to finally get the degree and awards in a few minutes kind of thing. So in thinking about what to say to you knowing that many of you have also been academic experiences already, I thought I would do something that was a little bit unique, in that I want to do a little storytelling, and I want to do that a bit about myself, but also how I think it weaves into your life as well. And I think in some ways it is part of a tradition that's been around for a long time, and certainly with the interest that has become significant for many of us about our history in Indigenous people, where storytelling is very much a part of that. I think it's another way for us to look at the world that we live in. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with a bit of my academic background. Like many of you, I had been working for some years before I decided to go back to school, and I got a master's degree. At that time, I was working with children. I had kind of got pushed into a bit of working with children with special needs. I soon figured out that I didn't know a great deal about that, and so started to look around as to where I could learn more. And I was fortunate that there was only a couple places in all of North America that worked specifically and taught about children with special needs. And I went to San Francisco State University to one of the first programs, and it was for people who wanted to work with children 6 and under. So we're talking about very young age that was there. Like you, I spent a year doing that. I got an agreement from the work I was doing to be able to go back to that job. I moved to San Francisco for a year, where I knew no one at that time. And like many of you, because it was a specialized program, it was a group that went almost all the classes where we had the same people, the same young people that were in it. Well, we were a bit younger. We weren't real young, but we were a bit younger with that. Part of it was, like many of you probably, had some kind of experience that you had to do as part of the work that you were doing. A practice, we called it a practice unit at that time. And I was assigned to work with a group of children in San Francisco that was run by the San Francisco School Board. It was in a regular classroom. It had about 10 or 11 children, as I best remember, all between the ages of about 8 months and about 5.5. And they were all children that had very significant issues to deal with, physical, a variety of things, always very complicated. And for someone like myself, it was quite a different experience. There was a teacher aide, and myself. And I was quite bowled over when I went to the classroom because of the degree of difference that was there among these very young children. So one of the kids that I started to spend a little time with was a young child of about 8 months old who was very fragile physically, as well as a variety of issues. This child could not speak. It did not hear. It physically, as many of you would recognize with young children, their heads, you become more solid. This child had a soft head still. Also, it had a particular thing that was very difficult for all of us, is that he had a reverse swallowing. So when you put food in the mouth of this child, they would push it out with their tongue rather than taking it in. So feeding was a real difficult situation. Took a lot of time and effort to do that. But this child was about 8 months old. After a little while in this classroom, the head teacher said to me, "You seem to be kind of a little afraid with this kid." And I said, "Yeah, I am. I'm worried about picking him up and, how to hold this child and don't want to hurt him, all of that kind of thing." And the teacher wisely said to me, "This child's 8 months old. His mother comes every day to pick up and take it. Ask her. She knows what to do." And lo and behold, that's exactly what I did. I asked his mother what she did to succeed every day with this child for 8 months. And she told me what to do and what not to do. And it was a very interesting learning experience. And I didn't realize how important that was until a little later, when I was starting to think back on that experience and realize that kind of effort taught me a great deal about children. Other people know things. They were there. They will help you. They have information that you can use. And I think that's part of the learning experience that hopefully many of you have been through recently here at St. Stephen's. Another area that I want to spend a moment on is that probably like most of you, there's also another reason why you have come and spent time with us here. What is it that you wish to achieve? And I think probably what it is, and certainly was for me at the time, I was interested in making the world a better place for everyone. And my guess is all of you have thought about that one way or the other. For the people you'd be working with, for the community you were involved in, for the city, the country, or whatever it might be. So I became part of an international organization that provided support to poorer countries. And I spent 2.5 years in West Africa, in Nigeria and Ghana. I was teaching in a teacher training college with students who were coming back to school, and they're being trained to work in elementary schools. They were all older than me. I was younger than anyone in the classroom because they'd all been out for a while, and most of them had been working as well. I was expected to teach English, which was the official language for school and academic and papers. There was a second language for all of them as such, but English was quite well developed by the time they were in the classroom with myself. Besides English, I taught math, and I maybe did a little general science. It's hard for me to remember that part kind of thing, whether that happened or not. One of the things that about 4 months or so after I was there, and things were going quite well. I enjoyed teaching. It was a group of young people I liked working with very well. And it was time to do an exam, a test. And so I had prepared a test that had questions, and some that many of them were things you had to write a little bit as well. And so at the beginning of the class, I handed out the papers to everyone and expected to sit down while they quietly worked away for 45 minutes or so. Well, I sat down, and it was not at all quiet. As I looked around, they were getting up and talking to each other, and they were clearly indicating what you needed for this answer and what you needed over here, et cetera, et cetera. And so by the time the class was over, and I was picking up the papers, they were all the same answers for everyone, kind of thing, and almost identical. And I went home, and it was like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Why did this take place? And of course, was somehow thinking that somehow I had done something that was not appropriate. And it took me a while to realize, and it's a lesson that I've never forgotten, is there are many ways to think about what is in front of you. For this group, and with their background and their culture, cooperating and working together was more important than what individuals did by themselves. And so they were doing what they always did when there was tests or these kinds of efforts. They got together and made sure that they were doing and providing the information that was needed, kind of thing in that. And I must say, it's the kind of learning that comes from experience. And it comes thinking. At the time, I was horrified. And it took quite a while for me to figure out what was going on, particularly because everything seemed to be going well. And then I realized, and I learned, and understood, and even today, it's one of the things that guides me in my life, is people can see things in different ways, and we need to find ways to respect that and understand it. And I think that's one of the things about going back to a place like St. Stephen's is an opportunity. If we want to make it a better world, we need to take a look at what that world is like. Did I make a better world in those in the countries I was? Never, not at all. It was good for me. I was the one that benefited and learned a great deal. It's an experience I will never forget. But it wasn't really something that made everyone else perfect. It made me a better person, and that was probably valuable for me. And then, as mentioned earlier, one of the things that I have also gotten involved in and made a shift in the kind of work I was doing, I ended up becoming a politician, which I know most people are skeptical about so was I, kind of thinking that. I ran for city council, and I was elected with Mayor Jan Reimer and myself. She was the first female mayor that we had in the city, and I was the first openly gay person in Alberta that was elected, and went to work as that. In working and dealing with issues that come forward to the city at that point, and I was there because I wanted to make the city a better place for all of us to live in, to do things that made a difference. One of the committees of council that I was on with four other members of city council, we were reviewing an application from a group of parents. They were members of a school parent group, and they were advocating that they wanted a hot lunch program for certain schools and children in Edmonton. Now, this is quite a few years ago when it was kind of it didn't happen otherwise. And the school board had essentially said, well, we can help, we will help, but you need to raise money to buy the kind of equipment you need, and stoves and all the kind of stuff to prepare food. So they were coming to city council to ask council for $50,000 to be able to move forward. I knew this group, and I'd worked with them before I was on council, and I was very excited. They met with us, we asked questions, we did stuff, and then our job was that we would decide whether what we thought was best, and that our decision would move on to full member of council the next week. I was sure everyone would think it was wonderful. Well, the vote was 3-1 against moving forward, and I was devastated. I was like, this was such a good idea. It was so important. We knew we had in Edmonton in schools kids that come hungry to schools, and feeding them makes all the difference in the world. I mentioned this to the mayor at the time, Mayor Jan Reimer, and I said how I was really, I couldn't believe that had happened, and how sorry I was about that, and that when I was there to try to make things better for people and families. And the mayor said to me, well, it's coming to council. I'll see whether we can't do something. And sure enough, it passed at city council 7-6. And I did learn that many times things happen because you work with people, that you need to have other people with you. It isn't just you alone. It's your ideas and what you wish to do, but others are there as part of that. It helped me to move past that notion that it's just me that has to make a difference. It's me maybe with others that make that work. And all of that, I think, points to the fact that in trying to make the world a better place that all of you wish to do, we are really talking about the fact of social justice. We want it to be fair for everyone. We want everyone to have the opportunity. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing, but also that we galvanize other people to be part of that so that we do really see some improvement, some changes. And I suspect that's what all of you want. And I indicate to you that St. Stephen's has prepared you for that. You will never, ever be able to not think about social justice in the work that you do, starting today and for the rest of your lives. It's the important thing that comes from being a student here at St. Stephen's. It's part of what makes you the kind of persons you want and helps us all to make the kind of world that we want. So enjoy the evening. Keep in mind why you are there and what you can do differently and how you can change the world. And little by little, it'll be better like the rest of us. Thank you very much.
What a challenge, Michael. What a challenge. Thank you. I can just see dreams of, couldn't we just do all our papers all together and then get the same grade? It would have been so much easier. It is our custom each year to include a convocation, a performance of some kind. Usually a performance that is of meaning to our honorary degree recipients. In the past years, we have had a harpist, we have had solo piano, we have had a folk musician, a small orchestra, or the like. This year, we thought in this beautiful auditorium with this rather large dance floor, we would invite a group of traditional Rwandan dancers. You see, among the many accomplishments of Dr. Oakes and Dr. Neufeld, our two honorary degree recipients, is that they have both contributed significantly to the work of Yego Canada, a not-for-profit organization that supports those working with genocide survivors and vulnerable youth in Rwanda. Of note, YEGO has a strong St. Stephen's connection. The organization was actually founded by an alumnus of our doctoral program, and several St. Stephen's folks have been involved with YEGO over the past decade. Among these individuals are Dr. Oakes and Dr. Neufeld, both of whom have served on the YEGO board. Dr. Oakes is a former co-chair of the YEGO board here in Canada, and Dr. Neufeld has traveled several times to Rwanda to facilitate healing retreats and other programs for women and youth affected by trauma and intergenerational trauma as a result of the 1994 genocide. Members of the local Rwandan community here in Edmonton were so excited to hear that these two individuals were receiving honorary degrees, and so we are grateful to have 4 of them present here tonight. They will perform 2 dances for us. Would you please welcome the dancers?
Somebody created me in the nyakubya, somebody created me in the somebody created me in the nyakubya, somebody created me in the ngoma. Shacha murire che mirinde nyakubya, cyangwa muriteme mirinde nyakubya, sazi amazi nka mirinde ngoma. Somebody created me in the nyakubya, somebody created me in the ngoma. Somebody born in somebody created me in the nyakubya, somebody created me in the ngoma. Somebody created me in the nyakubya, somebody created me in the ngoma.
Aya ni amakondera n'ibyivugo dutuye umwami w'abami Yesu. Ibuka muratamuka neza amasomo y'ingabo mwiburiye mwaraye bajya kugira Imana. Aho nimushinjagire gitore muratambuka neza ntore z'u Rwanda. Wajya undi mu mata bateze agatemba mbese ntibasura yego undi rutema ikirere undi inzovu bakomera muratambuka neza bajya kugira Imana. Aho ni mu ngwiri ngiriye
Exceptional, exceptional. Thank you. We will now confer the degrees and certificates upon our graduating students. You've been sitting there patiently long enough. Come to the time. Graduands, you will be called one by one according to your degree or certificate program. But first, I invite you to please stand and make your way along the red carpet. The first row first, followed by the second row, followed by the third row. Yeah, you can come around behind the stage and you can line up at the end of the red carpet over there. While the graduates are in motion, I'd like to invite Reverend Dr. Kehinde Olabimton to come to the podium. I'll also invite Chancellor Cardinal, Reverend Dr. Jeff Wolfong-Pritchard, and Larry Derkach to join me at the front of the stage.
For admittance to the degree Master of Theological Studies, Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Jeremiah Ellis, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Theological Studies, Faith and Culture, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Rachel Naden, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Theological Studies, Diaconal Ministry, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Caroline and Nelson in absentia, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Theological Studies, Spiritual Care, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. To receive the graduate certificate in Theological Studies, Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Mary Faith Blackburn, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the graduate certificates in Theological Studies. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Laura Joy Tira Demagundayo, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the graduate certificate in Theological Studies. Dr. Lorraine Smith MacDonald and Maury Mogridge, will you please come and present the graduates in the Department of Psychotherapy and Spirituality?
For the admittance to the degree of Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality, Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Denny Lee Fitzpatrick. Who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Jamie Friesen, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Jessica Jorgenleek, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Emily Perkins, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Amanda Weaver, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Julie Mallet in absentia and Jennifer Sander Harvey in absentia, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, are entitled to be admitted to the degree of Masters of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Counseling, to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Thank you.
Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Aurora Cardenas Topete, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Crystal Shingan, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Vivian Wing Yen Chen, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Nova Hartman, who, having satisfied the requirements set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality, Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Teresa Rosima, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree of Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality, Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Carly Lowe, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality, Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Emily Schmidt, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, is entitled to be admitted to the degree Master of Psychotherapy and Spirituality, Art Therapy, and to share in the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to that degree.
To receive the graduate certificate in spiritually informed psychotherapy, Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Chung Lee Chan in absentia, Chelsea Miller in absentia, and Christina Tate in absentia, who, having satisfied the requirements set forth by St. Stephen's College, are entitled to receive the graduate certificate in spiritually informed psychotherapy.
To receive the graduate certificate in spiritually informed creative arts, Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Gandhi Pasi in absentia, who, having satisfied the requirements as set forth by St. Stephen's College, are entitled to receive the graduate certificate in spirituality informed creative arts.
Eminent Chancellor, would you please come and confer these degrees on our students?
By virtue of the authority vested in St. Stephen's College by the province of Alberta, with the consent of the Academic Senate of the College, and having regard for your many contributions, both earned and recognized, I confer upon each of you the degree or certificate to which you are entitled. Congratulations.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations, graduands, and congratulations, honorary degree recipients. This has been a full and joyous occasion. I'm grateful that we've been able to join together in person this evening to celebrate the many accomplishments of the college community. In a moment, I will close our time together with a short meditation, but before I do so, I'd like to invite each of you who are here tonight to join us in the foyer immediately following the ceremony. We will have light refreshments, and there will also be a photographer present. Graduates, make sure you get some pictures with your family and, with your hoods and all the things. As we process out of the hall, I will ask the platform party to first of all follow me, and after the platform party, the students can follow after. So let's close with a short meditation, a time to center ourselves, but also to look out into the evening and the night and the day and the days after that are before us. This is a meditation that is inspired by the Jewish tradition, which I've read at a few different convocations, and I find that it is a good reminder for us as we walk out from here. May the divine light that dwells in each one of us cause love, humanity, peace, and friendship to dwell in our midst. May the divine light that dwells in each one of us widen our boundaries through discipline, populate our goals with hope and with future, appoint to us a share of the light's warmth and illumination, direct us in the world through good companions and good impulses. May the divine light that dwells in each one of us cause us to rise in the morning and find our hearts waiting to seek justice and peace. May it be so. Mr. Piper, would you please pipe us out?
Well done.
Thank you very much. Got it.